Yes, we are back. And I'm very excited for this one. This feels like I've entered a new chapter in my career. We are now post John Summit collab. My recent US tour was incredible. I played, like 4 shows in Miami. I did sold out show in Salt Lake City with Mary Droppins, a sold out after party afterwards, which I co-headlined. Sold out show with Taiki Newlight in New York, sold out show with Taiki in LA. It was a very fruitful tour, and I felt rejuvenated and energized at all points. So definitely felt like a new chapter for me, really. I'm feeling good. And today, a lot of you might not have even heard this song. It went under the radar. After the John collab, Experts Only, which is John Summit's record label, asked me for more music. And I sent them this. And they loved it, and they said, look, we want to release it on the Miami Music Week comp. So this song is out. It is called Shadows. It is by me, and it is on Experts Only right now, and it's one of my favorite club tunes. I'm a bit gutted it went under the radar because of Miami Music Week. None of us really had time to promote it, so doing a track breakdown and showing you the ins and outs right now I think is a good start. This track also has some samples from Casey Club. So Casey Club and I started a collab together at a Shambhala festival in Canada, and I then made a different song, and I ended up just using in this song. There's a lead. Where is this lead? I used this. So this is his sound from the collab, and then the vocal sample is one that he found, which is this one. So those are the two things that I took originally from our collab, and then everything else is just stuff that I've exported and kind of brought in, really. So it's my track with then samples from our other collab. So for Rohan and Casey Club fans, we do have another collab. We just need to finish it up and find some vocalists, basically. But let's get into it. This is 140 BPM, of course, and it's a more club-leaning tune. I started it out actually like this. Oh. Our original idea was more 140, but I really wanted this to just be a club tune. I'm loving writing in that space right now, and I'm very excited about it all. This intro kind of took me a while to make sure the groove was right, because one thing that John Summit asked for was a mixable version, so I had to sort of backwards engineer an intro. So it's just all these different tops. Like I recreated the Fine Day tops. We've got some hearts, some like the liney, just like shaker sample. So it's just textures, all together. All these little bits and bobs, A little fill situation here of a chopped sample that I was just chopping up. So really nice double hit, and then I laid it with the Casey Club sample from a bass. So it's just these interesting moments that when people listen to my music, I want them to dig a little bit and hear really nice things. And I also tease the vocal here. We've got a riser coming in. easy, you know, it's just like a mixable intro, and then I kind of had this reverse vocal, which is in the same key. Did I have to pitch it? No, it's in the same key as the track. And then just a riser here, bringing us into now the main track. So I've got my little effect here, a really deep note, -1. It just has this nice, because it's so deep, but then also the high-end whistle, the bit that you hear, is perfect. I've got little like effects. And then on top of this, the important stuff is, so we've got the vocal chop, which we've got an EQ just to cut out any low rumble that I don't need. I've got a creative thing here, which is the filter, which opens up, you know, over time. We've then got a reverb that sweeps in and out over time. Multiband compressing it just to give it a bit more life after the reverb as well. So the reverb feels a bit more embedded into the sound, brings it alive. I've then done some more sort of carving EQ and giving it a pop of high end while also taking out a bit of that. It's giving a bit of a smile curve there, a bit of rumble that was there. Sort of like, well, not rumble, but sort of mid layer nastiness, and then limiting it just to pull it together. Got some hats, little sharp, so I just subdued them a little bit, and I think that's it. And then just, you know, just keeping some groove rhythm going. And you can see up here, I trialed a kick for a little bit. But the reason I didn't choose that in the end, and it's so important when it comes to, at least for me now exploring club tracks, is I've gone from drums to now into the melody, the vocal, the heart, building suspense, and then we start to bring back the hype. So when the drums do come in, you know, it's kind of like it's like the carrot in front of the face, but then we do actually get to eat it. You know, it's like I want to create more suspense. Think of it as a horror film. It's that silence. It's that calm before the chase, you know. But if the whole film's a chase, you know, you've kind of got to be pretty damn good chase director, you know. Whereas this, I like the suspense, that sort of tried and true technique. Yeah, cool. So we've had the drum intro. We've now gone into this section where I'm now building up suspense. The first half of the build is just like what you were hearing then. I then now start to bring in more drums. And you'll notice the vocal starts to change there. So I'm now increasing the effects on it. We have this little riser. Into that next section, we have the introduction of these drums. Shout out Derby. More effects. We've got these. Cool little sample that I found in my library. Some more reverses. You know, it's kind of all coming to this credential. What's the word? I can't think of the word now. I'm then starting to speed up the little sort of elements towards the end. So this sample. So I'm increasing the effects of this filter delay while decreasing the filter. Brings us to a nice crescendo. That was the word. I changed the vocal sample from this to then a chopped version. LFO tool, because then we've got this sort of ducking effect, saturating it by less than a decibel, EQ again to push the highs. We've got the reverb coming up. So this diffuse section, you can actually download this. I've made my own version of this called the Yes Yes module. You can get that on my Patreon right now. And this is all the effects that you need, like this bit here. And then we've got the pumper. Presence, which is more of an OTT. Got limited, you've got wash. Metalize. This is all a bit brash right now. You get the gist. What am I doing here? So, as a build-up, you can see kind of these elements are building. I'm now rebuilding the groove. Let's mute that again. I bring the kick drum in here. Which I filter the faster that it gets. As it gets faster, I want to filter it so it doesn't overwhelm the mix towards the drop. Because in the drop, when everything and all the sub and the bass are there, if you give away too much of that before the drop, you've kind of shown all your cards before it's done, you know, before you get to the drops. That's why I like to filter things away before we get the payoff, essentially. You can see I put the kick here on a separate channel. The reason I've done that is because I wanted to turn it down a little bit, and instead of automating the main kick, it was just easier for me to do it this way. Yeah, so that's the intro. You can sort of see the thinking that I had. I wanted to build energy and I wanted to make sure it was mixable. So we've got mixable, build energy. Now we go into the drop. That's drop number one. Let's break it down. So here with the kick, oh, wrong shortcut. Here with the kick. A little bit of a different rhythm instead of it just being 4/4. I quite like the repetitive, stompy nature of it. And you can see how I've set this up. So I've set it up in a sample here where I've actually got two kicks. We've got this, which is the click, and then and together. Maybe if I show it on a Vision 4X. So without, bit rounder. With, we just getting this sort of little bit of high-end information. It's really not too much, but I just wanted a bit more of a tight and brighter transient for this, basically. And that goes into a glue compressor, which is clipping it, essentially. Because if I turn that off, you can see. And then with the compressor, much beefier, and it's sort of staying louder for longer. So you've got to think on a system that's now moving the sub and the low mids here for longer, which means the crowd is going to feel and hear the kick better. So that's the kick rhythm with little contrasty build bits at the end. I've then got some offbeat basses to fill some nice groove gaps. In fact, let's not do that bit just yet. Let's go to the hi-hats. So we've got... These are the drums for my track Got No Love, which was released on Hard Records last year. And it's one of my favourite loops I've ever made. Kind of like a ticking clock with the best, most round snare ever. So I sort of chopped that up for a new rhythm. Added a supporting offbeat. You can see processing, just multiband that. Here I've done some EQ, a little bit of room reverb here, and a tiny bit of EQ. Just pulling down those highs a little bit so they weren't too crazy. I then support it with a Derby loop. We then have this top. And the purpose of this is to accentuate sections, accentuate us entering new parts, essentially. And I've also got these fills. All these, when they come together as one, huge difference. And it makes it all feel alive, you know, we're not bored, it's never stagnant. More of a shaker, and this is just sort of a white noise layer to support the song. And then I also have a crash. All of this supporting downbeats and grooves and pockets. We've got these little fills. Really bright, really full, very organic. And quite a live drum feeling. I've then got these white noise. See, and this white noise you'll hear is sidechained to the kick. But when I play the kick, can you hear the sidechain changes from being just a normal sidechain? What we're hearing there is the sound, put the actual volume pushing down. Can you see here? It's just volume pushing down. Whereas when the kick plays, it's ring modulating it. So we actually get more of like a crunch. And what you're seeing here is it's ring modulating the kick to the white noise. So we get a crunch that then doesn't clip. And I like that sound, because instead of being, what is that, subtractive? Is that technically additive now? No, it's still either way, I prefer the end product. So that's the drums in this section. We then sort of, towards the end of a 16, I bring in, you know, little perks and hits just to spice it up. We've got little hits here. See if we can hear that in the mix. Can't even hear it, but it's there. And then we have these lovely moments all together. So you get the gist, you know, I'm building grooves and supporting sections with these sounds, and those crashes there, I support it with a sub. It's exciting, it's exciting. Okay, so that's the drums. We then have the star of the show, my bass. I mean, what more could you want? I've kind of done a little smile curve here just so to make room for that lower part of the vocals. Limited once, and then just sidechained. And I used Duck Buddy. I've done a separate video on my sidechaining on my Patreon if you want to check that out. And then here, I actually had to use volume automation to chop it down so it didn't clash and so the tail of it didn't overlap with this bass. So if we look at it here, you know, we're all good. But I think if I turn that off, let's see if it there, look there, you see that? So that overlap is what I was trying to avoid, because the tail of the sound was getting caught and clipping. Oh, it's clean, man. Which makes the mix then be louder because everything can breathe better. So that's the first bass. And then we've got the supporting bass here. Together, you know, it's a beautiful call and response. And then with that, the intro, the build, we have this, and it cuts into the vocal chop. Now I'm gonna cut to a bit I had to record before. I think I explain it all in there.
A few moments later.
Okay, I had to record this bit before I actually made the video because there's such a delay. Like when I click play, can you see that? There's sort of like a half-second delay between start and stop. And it's because I'm using this RX D crackle, which I'm going to have to delete out of the track to then do the tutorial. Essentially, if you listen to the track without this, listen to the crackle in the left ear. And no matter how hard I tried to cut that out, it wasn't possible because I had to move the vocal enough that then there'd be another crackle in the other side of it. So, did some research. I got the demo free version of RX11 D crackle. Listen to this. Crazy that it's that efficient. I couldn't believe it. That's the stock. I can't even see the stuff. I just put it on. And it worked. Blew my mind. So I just wanted to show you that. I don't know where I am in the tutorial at this point because I'm recording this first. But yeah, back to the tutorial. Right, now I'm back here. Yeah, so I was using the RX to get rid of the clicking. But it slows the project down. So I've had to delete that to do the rest of the tutorial. But essentially, I try and now create different sort of. I put them onto their own track for each purpose. So here's purpose was for that part of the build. So I'm like, okay, you can be there. And then this bit needed to be a bit louder, and I wanted to chop it, do different effects. So I put it on your own track, and the drop. I needed it to be a bit brighter, and I had LFO tool that kind of comes in and out at certain sections to give different grooves. You know, EQ'd. I've got the reverb here at the end of sections just to really accentuate us into the builds and the fills. A little bit more reverb, tiny bit of saturation. Filter is used in drop 2 just to give some room to. There's a lot of elements going on there, so I had to filter the vocal down a bit. Another EQ, multi-band compression, pushing the highs again. Didn't use this in the end. Dub echo, where do you come in? Good sir. Just towards the end here. Bit of fun in the outro, you know? Bit of fun here. Just fun little sections. That bit's quite nice actually, isn't it? That's pretty cool. And then again, just a bit of whatever I did here. So, the vocal chop. Should we see what it sounds like with no effects actually? I mean, that is literally night and day. So, and all of these, you see, it's not complex. I'm using a lot of native stuff here, and it's just boosting the highs a bit, multi-band compressing a bit, boosting where needed, and then using extra effects to push it out of the way of the kick drum. That's what's happening there. Then we have the white noise to layer, and that's the first part of the drop. So all together, you know. It's fun, you know. And then what I always do, and if you've watched my tutorials for a while, you'll notice this. We're then going into the second section of the first drop, and listen how it switches up. We get extra drums, we get different grooves. You know, let's break that down. So what happened is we went into this fill, and I feel like, especially my one-to-ones, on my Patreon I do one-to-ones, and I tutor a maximum of 10 students at one time. I've done this for hundreds of people now, and it's one of the privileges of my life. People don't as much in the early stages of their career focus on the fills, and that is the magic of a lot of my music, is these fills and these grooves. So next time you're making music, let's see if we can, spice up your fills and grooves. And like you've seen before, I layered a sub with the crash, and then this little perk above it. It's just fun, it's interesting. I added way more tops. We have stuff from the intro coming back in. So it's stuff that was in the intro that we didn't have initially that are now coming back in, and it makes you feel like you're going on a journey, but everything's extremely cohesive.